Hi, everybody. Welcome to Something to Talk About and happy Halloween. This is my first of two videos today. This one's kind of like my bonus fun one. Tomorrow or later today will actually be the character I'm covering. But before that, I want to say, hi, everybody. Welcome to Something to Talk About. I'm David Pumpkins, and I'm here to scare the hell out of you. Actually, my name is just Taco, and I'm here to talk about Asoiaf and fire stuff. Let's go! Halloween! It's finally Halloween. I'm filming this way before Halloween, but, it's good to try on my David Pumpkin suit. All right. Anyways, not way before, but before. My house is already Halloween-esque, because I did that at the beginning of, 2 months ago. August is done? Halloween. So, yeah. Anyways. Let's do this. So this is not a normal vid. Normally I just cover Southwest and Fire characters. I'm covering 13 of the spookiest places. And this is just an opinion piece. You put it in list form because I really just want to talk about these 13 scary places. So if you disagree, that's great. We are actually different people. Let me fix my pumpkin tie. We are different people. We're allowed to have disagreements. If you think the thing that I have at 13 is actually the scariest place, or if there's something completely different, tell me in the comments. That's awesome. I'm glad you have different opinions. That's what this is all about, right? But yeah, 13 spooky places of the world of ice and fire, because it's Halloween. It's time to get spooky. And I have my video on Nibbledick Crab coming out later today because he tells my two favorite spooky stories. One character, I get to cover two spooky things. I'm filming that next. I'm excited. All right, but let's get into this. So 13 is what we're starting with. I did not put these in order. Oh my God, I'm already screwing up. Let me just do this really quick. All right, I should be good there. All right, let's see if I get any of these out of order. Number 13. The Whispers! Also, I am talking about Nibbledick Crab later today, so I'm going to cover the Whispers again. But this is like my abridged version. So let's start with one that's just some general haunting and creepiness, right? There's not like a lot of awful stuff going on. It's just kind of... This ruined castle in Claw Point is the old home of House Crab. If you had a time machine to the Age of Heroes, you could put this place probably at number 3 or number 4 because it used to be filled with whispering undead heads. And Clarence Crab would probably cut your head off and make you join them. Now it's just a creepy haunted castle. Though I wouldn't stay there the night alone on Halloween. I wouldn't. It's still a creepy castle. But yeah, I wanted to start with a ghosty, creepy spot. But let's move to number 12. Or 11. What happened here? Oh, there we go. Number 12. Cohor. I just showed you guys what 11 was. All right. Oh, this is awful. Everything's made up on the points that matter. Cohor. A city in Essos that Varga Hote hails from. I don't feel like it's a dangerous place if you just visit, if you're just there with a work visa. But it's still a pretty creepy town. It's a city of sorcerers, and they love the dark arts, such as deviation, blood magic, and necromancy. They also worship a dark god called the Black Goat of Cohor. That's creepy. Who demands a daily blood sacrifice. These sacrifices can be calves or bullocks and horses on regular days, but condemned criminals on holy days. And in times of crisis, the nobles of the city are willing to sacrifice their own children in hopes that their god will defend the city. Woo! All right. So, all right. I kicked my stand. All right. So, Cohor, again, isn't if you visit, you're probably not going to get killed, but there's a lot of blood sacrificing going on, and there's a lot of dark gods and necromancy. So, it's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. Okay. I already showed you guys what my 11 is, but it's Nefer. So referred to by travelers as the Secret City, it is the capital of Nagai and the kingdom's last remaining city. Nefer enjoys a sinister reputation as a haunt of necromancers and torturers. Sounds like Halloween Town. So just like Cohor, but it's a tad darker, right? So it's like a haunt of sorcerers, but we got some torturers hanging out too. So it's a little darker. But yeah, shrouded by fog, Nefer is surrounded by tall chalk cliffs with when seen from the harbor, it appears to be no more than a small town. 9/10 of a Nefer is said to be beneath underground, so in the ground. However, giving the city's nickname of the secret city. It's also just north of the Bleeding Sea and near the Cannibal Sands. All fun sounding places. Yeah, like Nefer itself is like secret city, so that's kind of creepy. Like a bunch of caves just filled with necromancers and torturers. Like, yeah, it's some. I wouldn't go there. But also, like, everyone has a lake cabin at the Bleeding Sea and they all take hikes in the Cannibal Sands, right? So it's like surrounded by some pretty creepy places too. But yeah, let's get into some. Let's go on. All right, so 10. We're gonna hang on in Essos or Westeros for a bit. So let's head back to Westeros. The Dreadfort is the creepy home of House Bolton, and I'm sure it's a safe place for most, as long as you don't anger Roose or Ramsay Bolton or Snow. Then you might, if you do, you might find yourself hunted by Ramsay and Reek, and if you're a woman, way worse. But the real creepy stuff is what goes on in the dungeon, the flaying and torturing. So if you visit, just hope you're high enough born that you can't easily be disappeared, and don't step on anyone's toes. Yeah, like it's high, like it's not super far low in the, like, it's 10, not like number 1, mostly because, like, if you just visit the Dreadfort, you should be good, right? But it's a dangerous place if you're not high enough born to be protected. Like, if you're just a low born dude and you're just showing up, you might get disappeared, man, and horrible stuff might happen to you. So that's kind of what saves it for being lower, is the fact that it can be awful and can be dangerous and fatal, but you should be able to be fine as long as as long as you're careful. All right, number 9. We're gonna hang on Westeros for a bit. It's not all Essos stuff. So we got Harrenhal, of course. What can I add about this place? The gigantic ruin and cursed home of many. Anyone that takes over this place dies. Their family line, dies out eventually. So the story goes. It was the home of Mad Danelle Austin, so the Westeros Dracula, female Dracula, complete with bat monsters. And in later years, it was the home of unspeakable acts done by the Boltons and the Mountainsmen and the Brave Companions. And I'll only speak on a couple. Cannibalism, torture, bear feeding, and that's just the surface. This is a grim place, and I'd stay away if I were you. Yeah, I wouldn't go to Harrenhal. The fact that Arya hangs out here for quite a lot of the books and is safe, she's a survivor, man. She's a Destiny's Child. She's a survivor. Is that Destiny's Child? I'm a survivor. All right. Anyways, it's a dangerous place, and I only named the, like, safe for work stuff, and the safe for work stuff is cannibalism and torture. Not to mention being fed by a bear. I would hang out there, and if I would do what Peter Baelish did. If somebody gave you the deed, I'd be like, cool, whip on it for hasty handle. Like, going over there. Okay, we're still hanging out in Westeros, but let's go a little north. To the Nightfort. Again, less dangerous nowadays, maybe, but holy, spooky, and haunted. You got the rat cook hanging around, ghosts from the Night King's days floating around, creepy talking tree head in the basement, and we're all sure we're all sure that head is made specifically for human sacrifice. Not we're all sure, but possibly. Might want to skip this place with your trick or treating. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Nightfort. Again, you could visit there and be fine, but I wouldn't. There's that creepy ghost head that can let you out through the north. That, of course, we don't know if it was made there to sacrifice people, but a lot of people think that it was. Just a creepy old ruin, Hodor. Yeah. So yeah, Nightfort. Let's finally get out of Westeros. Let's head back across the narrow sea and further, because we're going way to the east to Bone Town. Heck yeah. Back to Essos to get fricky. Want to go to Bone Town? Why are we doing this bit? You're all about to die. There is very little known about this one, but it's super far east, past the Bleeding Sea and the Grey Waste. All we know is that they trade in strange, aged bones found in the nearby Dry Deep. It is also told that the town is made entirely of bones. So maybe it's wild speculation, but some crazy stuff might go down there. Yeah, so Bone Town. If you didn't get that Rick and Morty joke, I'm sorry. Why are you doing this bit? All right. So Bone Town, possibly. If we learned more about it, we found out that everybody there's cannibals or whatever. It would have probably been like 2 or 3, right? I originally had it low. But since all we really know is that the whole place is made of bones and they just sell a lot of bones from possibly like extinct sea creatures from a sea that dried up, that's creepy. And it's creepy enough to be number 7. But it's not like, I got some nasty stuff still on this list. By the way, viewer discretion advised. Don't be watching this if you can't handle some rough stuff. Halloween, let's go. All right, so yeah, so the fact is just place made of bones. If they sell bones, that's creepy enough, I think, to get it to 7. And if it's actually like, oh, by the way, they eat everyone who shows up, it would have been lower, but we don't know that. But still, I would visit Bone Town. Not this Bone Town. I mean, I'll visit Bone Town, but I won't visit this Bone Town. All right, the Thousand Isles. Now we're getting there. The Thousand Isles are an extensive archipelago in the eastern Shivering Sea off the northern coasts of Essos. These isles are home to hairless, green-skinned folk. Females file their teeth down the sharp points, and males slice their foreskins off their members. So is that just like circumcision? Like, that's just what circumcision is, right? Just cutting off her foreskin? Is that creepy? Is that scary to everybody? Okay. They are very xenophobic and hate outsiders and are known to sacrifice sailors to, quote, fish-headed gods. We got some Lovecraft going on over here. Some Lovecraft. All right. Yeah. So this is like the first one where I'm like, don't visit, you'll die. What are you thinking? Don't visit this place because chances are you're from out of town, unless you're from the Thousand Isles and you're watching this. Cool, good job. But what's up, man? Thanks for watching. I don't have a lot of Thousand Isles demographic, but chances are you're from out of town, and I guess they'll just like sacrifice you to a fish-headed gods, whatever that means. So yeah, I would stay clear. Anytime it's Lovecrafty cult stuff going on, I would stay away. And I mean, the women look like they're really scary. No offense. I'm not trying to talk crap. I mean, but they look scary. Everything looks scary there. So yeah, now we're getting into that. Like, you go there, you're most likely gonna die. And yeah, let's go to my next one, which has the beautiful name of, Cannibal Bay. Yeah, it turns out you might die if you go to a place called Cannibal Bay. We don't know where this is. It's just somewhere in the Shivering Sea. So, all right. This is scary place. This is scary places like, this is scary because places like this are real in our world. Just ask the ships that disappeared looking for the Northwest Passage. Cannibal Bay is a legendary, I skipped out the L, legendary place said by sailors to lie somewhere in the Shivering Sea. It is said that the ships enter Cannibal Bay only to find themselves trapped forever as the sea freezes behind them. Okay. This, that is reality. Was it the Terror, right? The shit, they made a TV show about it. But, when they were trying to find Northwest Passage and they got stuck in winter and the sea freezes around them, they're just stuck in the middle of nowhere on the ice. That happens. So what I'm about to say differentiates it from what we know of. Maybe stuff like this happened in our world, but man, it's terrifying and horrific. All right, but what makes this different from our own world is that that a cannibal society is based on all this, right? So because legends also claim some of the 1,000 ships embedded there are inhabited by the descendants of the original crews who survived by feasting on the flesh of the newly trapped sailors. The fate of being stuck in frozen hell sounds scary enough, or it sucks enough, and then you go and add cannibals. So yeah, so think like the first like 4 or 5 ships like lived there, and they're like about to die, and then another ship came and froze, and they're like, let's just eat all them, and then like generations of cannibals who live in these frozen ships, and whenever a new ship like freezes, they attack them. Now that's some scary stuff. I live in a very cold climate during the winter, and I suffer some pretty bad winters, you know, like negative 40, 50, 60, 70 wind chills. I'm not kidding, Fahrenheit. And it gets really cold. So all of that, but, you know, without the comfort of your house and your heater and fire, that's scary enough. And then you add cannibals. No, man, I don't like Cannibal Bay. Let's move on. Cannibal Bay's scary. All right, for the City of the Bloodless Men. Now we're getting into some Halloween stuff. This is about the furthest east I go. This is all There Be Dragon stuff, because there's also the City of the Winged Men around here. So I had to choose between the Winged Men and the Bloodless Men. But the Bloodless Men is somehow scarier. Travelers claim that the cities are inhabited by people as pale as the dead. Others claim that the inhabitants are corpses who have been drained of blood and returned through dark rites. If that's not spooky as hell, I don't know what is. Okay, it might not be as absolute death scarifying as the Cannibal Bay, but man, just like a bale of zombies. It's just a bunch of zombies. Like, that's about as Halloween as it gets, man. That's some scary stuff. If you just like were driving around and you took like a county road and you're like driving to a town that's like 4 hours away, you stop at a town you've never heard of, and like everyone there's pale white and they're like, hello, you'd be like, screw this, bye. That's scary. Sure, it's all right. Maybe it's not as deadly as Cannibal Bay, but man, Bloodless Men, get out of here. Nobody got time for that. 3, Valyria. Now. So not the Valerian Freehold. No. Not a place where there's a bunch of dragons and sorcerers and stuff. No. Now. Let's go. Yeah. Post-Doom Valyria is all kinds of nope. Just ask Tyrion Lannister. Oh yeah, you can't. He's dead. Probably. Ask Septim Barth how Princess Arya Targaryen was after visiting. Oh yeah. So the boiling sea and active volcanoes are enough, but then monsters that are scary enough to wound Balerion the Black Dread, and the worms that crawl into you and burn you from the inside, holy no way. Like, dude, Valyria sounds awful. And Euron Greyjoy's like, I checked out Valyria and I got some stuff from it. It's like, jeez. I don't believe you. All right, maybe I should believe Euron Greyjoy because he's psycho and crazy and he has a bunch of crazy psycho stuff. But man, I even think he was like, all right, guys, grab that horn. Let's go. This is some terrifying stuff. Yeah. Valyria now. I almost didn't have this on the list. This was supposed to be 12. I was going to do my top 12. And it was because I did top 12 characters I wanted to see in Mortal Kombat. And then I did top 12 DLC characters I wanted in Street Fighter. And it was all just because Mortal Kombat 1, when I first made the video, was called Mortal Kombat 12. So I was like, 12? Oh, why not 12? So I was just going to go 12. Like, maybe I just do all my lists as 12. But then I created this entire list, and I was like, oh, yeah, Valyria, post-Doom. And then it became 13, and it made it all the way to number 3. I almost forgot it. You guys are going to tell me about something I don't have the list. Like, I can't believe you don't have fla on here. I probably should have fla, and I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. Gagos. Oh, man. Now let's head south, far south. Gagos, once known as Gorgai, is the ruined city on the Isle of Tears. See, that's scary. You know, the largest of the Basilisk Isles. It lies on the southern coast of the isle, facing the continent of Sithorios, when the Valyrian freehold captured it during the Third Giscari War from Old Gis. So it was owned by Old Gis first. The Dragon Lords used it as a penal colony for their worst criminals. All right, here we go. New methods of torture. New methods. Brand new. Guys, we invented some new torture just for Gagosos. Were used, and blood magic was said to have been practiced, including slave women being forced to mate with beasts and produce twisted half-human offspring. Now, that is some messed up stuff. Yeah, that's what gets it here, man. Like, this is what the Valyrian freehold's like. All right, let's go do our evilest stuff. Like, oh my God, that's some crazy stuff happened here. Gagosos grew powerful through slavery and sorcery during the Century of Blood, so after the Doom of Valyria, with some of it calling the 10th Free City. 77 years after the Doom of Valyria, however, the Red Death emerged from the slave pens of Gagosos and swept through the Isle of Tears into the rest of the Basilisks. 9 of every 10 men died from the plague. So maybe it's a little less scary now, but still, no thanks. Yeah. So I kind of gave the Whispers a little less, because if you visit now, and I mostly was like, oh, these places now. And sure, Gagosos doesn't have the Valyrian freehold doing those crazy torturous experiments there now. Still no. Like, it's Red Plague might still be there. Like, it might still be super deadly just to go there. But no, man. I'm not doing it. If you're like, no, it's totally safe. There's a really great B&B there, good bed and breakfast. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm good. I know what I used to happen there. That's some scary. Talk about haunted. That place got bad energy. Bad vibes. All right, we made it to number 1, and you're probably yelling out something completely different. So I'm going to say one more time. This is the first time I'm saying this. World of Ice and Fire is huge. And you probably had stuff on your lists that I don't have in mine. And I might have just forgot about it when I was working on this. Or I deemed it, that these were scarier. Or I have a good enough, pretty much the same. I almost had Hard Home on here. So if you're yelling out Hard Home, I figured Cannibal Bay was a good enough. And then I didn't really think it was that like something crazy there happened before. But, now it's just a horrible place to because it's just this frozen bay, right? But anyways, Hard Home's my honorable mention then. So you might have this one, because I really think there's only one choice. And that is going deep into the jungle of Sithorios, man. That is Yin. Oh, enough of the Isles opposite Sithorios. Now let's go inland. This is a real green inferno hell. An ancient city now just hidden in a jungle that will kill you if it can. Besides the gigantic King Kong apes and massive bats and tattooed lizards in the jungle, the ruins are even worse. The city is made of oily black stone. Yeah, the oily black stone. And we're getting into some weird stuff. I almost had Toad Isle in here just because the idea of the oily black stone was scary enough. But yeah, this place is all made out of the oily black stone. Look it up. Okay. So the oily black stone that keep YouTubers up at night. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTube stuff about the oily black stone. Yin has remained in desolation for many thousands of years, yet the jungle surrounding it has scarce touched it. Every attempt to rebuild or resettle has ended in horror. Hear what I said? The jungle hasn't reclaimed it, right? Nothing's moved on in, It's not grown a moss and the giant King Kong apes aren't just living there. No, nothing will touch this place. It is cursed and it's terrifying. It's full of psycho stuff. We can't even talk about, could comprehend. I would mess with Yin. So during the years spent in Sithorios by some of Namiria's 10,000 ships, so a couple ships settled there. Some settled in Yin, where they had to contend with constant attacks from brindled ghouls from the jungle. So brindled men, who also were probably in Gagosos, right, are men from Sithorios, and they're like men, but they're a little different. They're called brindled men. They're kind of like got pig snouts, and they're a little more. So they call these guys brindled ghouls because if you get this far down the Sithorios, they're not just like men, they're monsters. And brindled ghouls will attack you if you try to stay in Yin. They'll come in from the jungle, mess with you, and leave. Because again, jungle don't hang out in Yin. Even the brindled ghouls are like, we can go in there and kill you, but we're leaving. We're not hanging out in Yin. What's wrong with you? All right. Even the ghouls think that. At some point, a boat was sent from Zemeter to Yin Zemeter, only to find that all the people had abruptly vanished from the city. According to tales, Nymeria called it a city so evil that even the jungle will not enter. So yeah, scariest place in my opinion, spooky jungle hell. Yeah. I'm not going to Sithorios or to Yin. Yin's in my scariest. All right. Tell me where you guys went wrong or went different, where I went wrong. Please be respectful. This is just a goofy, fun list from a guy who loves the Song of Ice and Fire lore. And yeah, it's Halloween, and I wanted to do an extra video, and I wanted to, scare the hell out of you. And I figured a good old list of just some creepy places was the way to go. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Happy Halloween. Any questions? Peace.